All right, I think we are live. Um, Hello. All right, so this has been a several day process, but the printer is now put together. It was working really well last night. Got everything calibrated and updated, ready to go. This morning, though, can't seem to get it to connect to the Wi-Fi anymore. So I know that Davey was having that same problem last night. And through just continuously trying, I think he was able to get it connected. So we're going to give it a few more tries. And then if that doesn't work, I already have something sliced up. We'll get it on an SD card and see if we can print directly from the printer. Not sure if anyone out there's tried that, but please let me know if there's an issue doing that before I try it. And then I need to apologize for the close-up camera. As always, it decides to randomly zoom in for no reason whatsoever. So right now it wants to look into the closet. So let's just shut that door. All right, that's not very centered. Let's get that adjusted too. Much better. All right. Looking good so far. All right, let's see if I can get connected to the Wi-Fi again. This would be like the 10th restart, so my advice is once it connects, never, ever disconnect it again. Don't turn it back off. All right. Inactive. Let's try. One more thing. Oh, connected. This is of course a here. Okay, well, we're gonna try something else real quick. It gets to associating and then disconnects again. So I'm not sure if anyone has any suggestions. I know I was not very much help yesterday because it connected on the first try. So let's take a look at what we're going to be slicing. All right, so this is the modified black belt slicer that we're using here. And we are going to be looking at a test print, Control-V test. I know it's kind of unfair on the overhangs for this printer, but we'll give it a shot and see how it goes. Definitely see some of these small details. So I've already got this one sliced, so let's take a look. What it's going to look like. So it's a little weird The first layer is over here on the right side, and then the last layer is on the left. So I'm having a hard time wrapping my head around that in the way that the slicer is handling it, but what that means is this is what we're looking like here. I've done minor tweaks on the default settings from iFactory. I'm really interested to see what's going to happen. I'm not sure if my mouse is actually showing. Oh, okay. I'm not sure what's going to happen here in this section with the words on the under side, but that should be a good test. So, let's see if we've gotten anywhere with the Wi-Fi. All right. It doesn't look like it's moving very quickly on the Wi-Fi here, so let's switch. Let's get a little bit of a close-up of some movement. Let's get this thing moving around and see what we look like. Unfortunately, again, I can't, as of right now, I can't get connected to the Wi-Fi. So it's not going to be quite as clean as I was hoping. Let's give it one more shot, though. So we go scanning, associating, and then last night it just connected right then, but it's going straight back to disconnected. So any suggestions would be helpful if you have any. So again, last night I got this all up and running. It worked fine. Today, not so much. But let's go ahead and use the onboard control here. Maybe. Seems like it's getting caught up in a boot loop with the Wi-Fi. So let's move this thing around. All right. Get some X movement here. Y. And let's go for some Z. That's backwards, but can you actually tell it's moving? Yeah, you can. All right, so we got a little bit of movement there. I think I have it pretty tight on the belt. Real quick, since we're having trouble getting connected anyway, let's go back and check our left to right leveling, because we can make a few quick tweaks on that if it is not looking good. So let's go ahead and just use this for controls. Oops. All right. So I've got a little bit of resistance there. Now, unfortunately, since I don't have it connected up to the Wi-Fi yet, I can't really see how that compares to the center calibration. But another way to check that is moving it up 10, moving it over to the center and back down 10 and see how clean it is. All right, so I moved it about halfway and we'll go back down 10. So that's a little loose. Now this isn't perfect, but it's a halfway decent test without having another means of checking its position, since the onboard here doesn't actually give us an active position, which might be a good update for the future. All right, so let's move this as far over as they will allow for now, which on here is a lot farther. On the Octoprint, it is limited to how far it can move. Okay, so that side's really tight. So what we're gonna do, definitely go down. So we're gonna slide this over, get it a little bit out of the way so I can get to this, that level screw. Okay, so side to side, that seems pretty decent now. Let's go ahead and just verify by pulling it all the way back to home. And then we'll recheck one more time. I was hoping to have all of this done, hooked up to the Wi-Fi, ready to hit print, but it is a Kickstarter. So we are working with what we got, and this might be a short live stream if I can't get it all connected, but we can always get it set up through the SD card and the G code that's already sliced up, since I was able to do the basic calibration last night. All right, so I'm going to move this thing around a little bit more. Let's get it centered. Okay. Get some resistance there. All right, so let's jump this thing up and go back to the right. Okay, so this side is now a bit tight since we did home in this now. So let's go and do a slight adjustment on this side and okay. Since I'm not able to get this thing going on the octoprint, let's jump over to the other side and try one more time. But this time it decided to limit me, so we'll just stop there. Okay, but I think we're pretty good. So, unfortunately, now I'm kind of stuck. So I'm going to do a couple more tries at the Wi-Fi connection. So I'll do a couple of power cycles, see if I can get this thing to connect a little bit. And if not, then we'll load it up on the SD card and try that. All right. Let's jump back in the queue. All right. I'm just going to let this start at the bottom and run something to look at more than what I'm doing. So. So this print is about 47 minutes. So I was trying to keep the entire stream about at an hour. But we'll have to see. We're already 20 minutes into this and still no print. So, a little frustrating. But we will keep trying and see if we can get any results here. This print will be a little interesting because we do have two separate pieces connecting to the bed at the beginning. So if either one of them has any issues, it could mess up the entire print. So I think it's a good test for a first try. But we'll see. All right, come on. Oh, and then it resets. So definitely got some issues to work out with the Raspberry Pi, the Octoprint, all of that. I wish I could just go ahead and bust this thing open and connect it via Ethernet. That would definitely speed this process up a little bit, but I'm not going to do that today. Maybe later. So go back to config and type this really long password in for the 18th time. The touchscreen's not terrible. It seems like it does get some phantom clicks every once in a while. But for the most part, seems to be pretty clean. But, you know, it's still a Kickstarter, so I think they're still working out some of those issues. I am interested to see how the doing infill first before the perimeters works. That's very different from what I'm used to. Wonder what kind of effects it has on surface finish and things of that nature. It looked like on some other people's prints, they were having some, you could definitely see some of the infill showing through on the outside layers. So could just be a settings thing. A few more outside layers should hide all of that. But it still seems like we're not able to jump onto the Wi-Fi. So let's do another power cycle or two. We'll give it two more tries. After that, we will jump to the dumping that's on the SD card. While this is booting up, I'm going to go ahead and get that started. Alright, so we got that over on the SD now. Let's go ahead and grab that and be ready to load that up. Let me do the correct thing and inject it properly. So, in here, there's no SD card slot on the Pi that I can see. There's screws on the back of this. And there are some screws. Alright, well, after this stream, we might be taking apart the Raspberry Pi and seeing what's inside. But until then, let's go ahead and try it the normal way. So I guess there's two ways I could do this. One would be plugging it directly into the computer via the blue cable provided. And two would be putting an SD card in and still using the onboard controls. So we're going to try that way. Let's see if it works the second way. Okay, so it's plugged in, but let's again try Wi-Fi. One more time. Wait, I gave myself two, right? Two tries. So the other thing that's weird, it's not giving us any true indication of what the error is. Just goes from associating to disconnecting every time. So that's I don't know if anyone else out there is having that same issue. But yeah, so just checking to see if any of the groups have any comments on. All right, so not seeing anyone who's had any major issues with the Wi-Fi. All right, it doesn't look like we got anyone in the chat here. So who all do we have in the live stream now? Anyone who's got a printer up and running? Any suggestions here? Because unfortunately, I'm just stuck trying to. That would be hilarious. Trying to connect to a different printer that I have up and running. I'm sure that won't work. But I get a Wi-Fi inactive, so that's fun. So we're going to give this thing another reset. I do have the SD card in the printer, not in that Raspberry Pi, so I'm not sure if it's actually going to allow me to access that from the Raspberry Pi screen. So if it can't access that, then we are stuck. Last thing I could try is plugging in directly to the printer and bypassing the Octoprint, the Raspberry Pi altogether. So all right, disconnected. In it. So before I hit this one more time, I'm going to find my cell phone and it's not an ring, so I will be right back. All right. So this will be making sure that my Wi-Fi has not blocked. Yeah, so I'm going to make sure my Wi-Fi is not actually blocking the IP when it's trying to connect. That's my last guess on what could be happening here. All right. Okay, so I see it here on my Wi-Fi, and it actually says it's connected, which is very interesting. And it's definitely not showing that it's connected. But it is bouncing between scanning and associating. So maybe it's really trying. The other thing I can do is go ahead and kick it out of the delete it from my I wish it's not connected to my own network. Alright, so it says it shouldn't be able to be connected right now. But to actually delete it from my network, it looks like I need to have it connected first. So that's fun. Definitely not connected. Alright. So we're just sitting in that loop of scanning and authenticating and it will not. Alright, so the other thing is I got nothing on the Raspberry Pi screen for printing. So instead of using an SD card, we're going to see if we can get it connected up with a print cable. Yeah. Okay. See how this works out. Of course, it's in the other room. Never in the location I needed. Just to be sure that all my other Raspberry Pis are connected in. Let's see. 22. Yep, they're connected. Let's see if we're seeing this. All right. Maybe try a different Wi-Fi phone tether and check to see what's connecting. Alright, so SD printing from here does not seem ready, but if we do connect up the printer via USB, maybe we can actually get it to print from that SD card. It should be a little bit cleaner than printing from a computer. So let me go grab my adapter. Going to plug in the 800 thing to this computer. So in order to do this, we need to unplug the Raspberry Pi, and that's just to review my backside again. That sounded great. All right. Yeah, the bridging sections here on this print should be pretty interesting. 63 layers in before we hit that, so. We'll see how that does. So I restarted the printer again. This time we are not connecting the Raspberry Pi to it. I can still try to get on the network that way, but I can't print from the onboard Raspberry Pi. What I'm going to be doing instead is seeing if I can connect through Cura. And looking at it, it looks like I'm connected right now. Yeah, so unfortunately, since I can't connect to the touchscreen at the same time, the onboard touchscreen, I can't monitor what I'm doing. And I haven't used Cura a lot. So I don't actually know. And it looks like this is just stuck in a boot loop because it can't connect or initialize. Okay. So definitely connected to the printer. Right, I gotta put it into the... Okay, so now we're gonna disconnect from that. Connect it up to this. See if we can get this to connect to the Wi-Fi while we're attempting a print, which honestly, my finger is going to be on the power button the entire time. All right. This makes me nervous to run it this way. I'm going to go ahead and feed the filament up to it. So assuming all my offsets yesterday were taken, we might be able to print. So let's go and preheat some stuff and see, make sure that all works here. All right, we're getting up there slowly. Extruder's getting warm. And bed is also heating up. Oof. All right. Getting warm here. We will see how this thing does. Yeah, I'll definitely have my finger on the power button the whole time, at least until it gets going. All right, so we got our print hot. All right, so let's go ahead and pause this. And instead of save to the file, we're going to print via USB. Oh gosh, that makes me a bit nervous. All right, let's get it all nice and hot first. Looks like we're just stuck in the boot over here, not getting anything connected. Yeah, it's just going to sit there and boot. All right, so I don't destroy this thing. You can go ahead and unplug that guy too. All right, so our print's hot. Printer's hot. Let's go ahead and get some. Let's see if we can add another. I'm not sure I can do that easily. Let's toss in another view. Let's move. Okay. Toss that right there. Okay. So since I don't have any manual controls, we're just going to get some extruding. All right. Well, it's definitely all primed up and ready to go. Let's get the excess buildup off. That is definitely at temperature. All right, so moment of truth here. Finger on the power button. Let's hit print, I guess. Oh. Okay. Here we go. Oh, okay. Well, come to find out, we cannot do that either. Print via USB. Switch this back over. This little warning down at the bottom. Print via USB is not supported on iFactory printers. Please save the G code to an SD card. So I did that. From here, I can't access it. So the last thing I'm going to try is closing up Cura and trying to open up a different program that can handle printing from the SD card on board. And we'll give it one more shot, and if that doesn't work, then I will probably wrap this thing up and we will be trying again another day, since this has been a fun hour-long live stream of troubleshooting. All right, let's close up Cura here. Get another program opened up. All right, so I've gotten some suggestions to go ahead and, oh shoot. To open up the Raspberry Pi. And to set up the Wi-Fi as we would on a normal Raspberry Pi, which, if this doesn't work, then I will be doing that after this live stream is done. No, that's not what I want. Okay, so we are connected. All right. Let's see if I can get this quickly added. Okay. So, we got Simplified 3D here. Looks like we're all connected to the bed, or to the printer. Our extruder and hot end are still on. Let's see where it thinks it is. It doesn't know that command. Okay, that's fine. Alright, so let's see if we actually can control this thing in Simplify. It moves. Look at that. Not sure the best spot. Oh, that's not the right one to move. Sorry about that, guys. That's what I want to move. Okay, so it does let me move the print head. All right, so let's go ahead and home the Y or the X. So that didn't work. Oh, wait, maybe it did. Okay, so work that time. And then the second time. Okay. Oh, all right. Well, I can definitely move everything. All right, let's try homing the Y. Definitely have my finger on the power button here. Okay, so seems to be working so far. Obviously, we can't really home the Z, but let's zero it out and see if we can move the Z. So it does move. Okay, so we're moving here. Oh, busy. All right, yeah. Whoa, that's great. I'm not sure what happened there. Let's see. No comments here. So what you guys are seeing. Okay. So let's see what's shown up on the SD card. SD card status. And I'm getting nothing. Okay, let's try print from SD card. Unfortunately, I have no clue if that's fine. Let's see. Oh, that's not happening. Okay, that is the right file. All right, well. Is this string even going? Okay, well, we're still live, which is fun because I accidentally closed the live stream window. So good to know that doesn't close you out. All right, well, I think all we have left to do is try to print from the SD card. And hope for the best. So let's try this thing. Let's go fun. All right, I'm nervous. Let's do this. Okay, here we go. Finger on the trigger. Okay, it's just slowly moving. Oh, right, because the home 0, 0 is all the way in that corner. Oh gosh. Slowly moving. Ooh. Okay, well, we are printing, and it is just drawing a big old line, which I know is the correct thing for it to do. Doesn't look like it's digging into the bed at all, which is positive. Some clicking on the belts. Oh, that was the extruder clicking a bit. Okay. All right. Well, we're printing. That's not the best view. So I'm going to rearrange this guy so you guys can see a little bit better what we got going on. That's a little bit better. Yeah. All right. Well, it doesn't look like it's sticking particularly well. And yeah, it's not sticking. It doesn't feel like it's really pulling much either. All right. Yeah, we're not getting a good print so far. Definitely didn't stick at all. Yeah. So we're just getting fun spaghetti. But we do know that this method works. I think I just need to fix the level on my bed a little bit. So I'm going to cancel this thing before we just have a big old spaghetti mess. Pause, SD. Job controls. We're going to move this thing away from me a bit. Okay. Well, first attempt. Got some spaghetti-ness sitting over here. That's basically all we got. So it seemed to be pushing out really well right at the beginning. Got a nice wide part here. And then it doesn't seem like it was extruding enough. It's a little bit of extra resistance in there. So let's try something simple. Wrong. All right. Let's go ahead and raise this side just a smidge. No, that's the wrong. Let's raise this up just a little bit. So for now, let's just go ahead and try that same file. I think I'm going to go ahead and slow it down. But I can do that from my Simplify software here. So let's go ahead and slow down our movement. Let's go down to 50. People have been saying it really likes going slow. So we'll go to 50 there. And then we adjusted the bed. So let's try again. What do we think? Yeah, let's go for it. It also seems like this extruder is taking really hard into the filament. Let's get a better view here. We're definitely way slow. But it basically looks the exact same right now. I mean, we're really close to the bed. I can probably modify a little bit of the that G code here. And I'm gonna have to clean up the spacing on this so that it keeps getting caught. I pull it back a little bit. But maybe we're sticking a little bit better. It's a big old maybe though. So exciting. So to do something a little bit more exciting, let's see if we can get a good zoom on here. Since not really here to look at me. All right, well, layer 1 seems to be sticking, maybe. Honestly, it might be sticking a little too much on the left side. Well, depends on how you look at it. The right side. But I think for now we're sticking. I'm not sure it's going to stay stuck for very long. But what I can say is it is printing. Let's see. So we are printing. We have multiple layers going down. I'm not sure how good the quality is right now, but I am seeing quite a lot of filament getting torn up on the bolt here. Okay, well. Okay, so quality's terrible right now. But I'm definitely not going to blame that on the printer. It's not. And we've already lost our adhesion on the one part. It seems like we're under extruding significantly. So I might be upping that value. I'm just going to let it keep running for a minute because although it's failed, it may fix itself a little bit, especially if I give it a little bit more height on this right side. Just a smidge. Okay. Since every layer is touching the build plate, you do have a chance to kind of save it every layer, which could be a good thing. Definitely not coming out very well right now, but let's see if I can get it even closer in here on this guy. Quick disconnect that I can do. So I'm just gonna pull one of these. As you can see, maybe it is really rough in there. This piece here is already disconnected. The other side definitely is under extruding, but it's sticking. So it looks like I can actually swing this around. It's an awkward angle, and you're not going to get a lot of views, but let's see. Once it slides over again. That side is restuck. This side is also stuck pretty decently. Once it jumps to the other side, you should be able to see it a little bit better. I know right now you're just looking at the back side of the extruder, so not super exciting. But there you go. You'll see some infill there. So let's get a decent view back. We'll put that over here. And leave it right there for now. I really want to get a slightly better view in here. So I'm going to grab my main camera and see if I can get anything that looks better. Okay. Oh yeah. There we go. So let's go ahead and switch these. Sorry for the shaky cam. But that's about the best view we're going to get right now. So definitely under extruding. Very inconsistent right now. You can see that other side kind of fell off a bit. But honestly, I think this is more a settings issue here than anything else. Okay, let's back here. Select again. All right. Like I said, I'm gonna let this thing keep running, even though it's not very pretty. It's definitely not pretty. But while that's running, I'm gonna go ahead and get some stuff in the background tweaked with settings. See if I can get anything a little bit cleaner going for what will still be the first full print, because this I will be stopping once I get those settings set up. All right. So issues I'm seeing, it does look like we're still sticking. I don't see a lot of movement in the part. So I'm not super concerned about any of those settings right now. But one thing I am seeing is we are under extruding pretty consistently. So let's get in here and change up some of our settings. So our flow rate is set at 100. But you know what we can do before we just go switching things around? Let's go ahead and up our extrusion rate in Simplify, which is what's running us right now. And let's see if that helps anything. I'm also seeing it's doing a lot of retractions internal to the part. And I know with Bowden's that can really cause issues. So I am going to see if I can get that kind of tuned out as well. I know Cura has a few settings with optimizing its retraction geometries. So the other thing is I did fine tune the extruder calibration last night, but I am realizing now that I fine tuned it without pushing it through the hot So I was at about 106% over extruding, which if I go back and do that with the actual hot end pushing some material through, maybe that's the reason we're actually under extruding. So it definitely could be user error on that part. So after that, let's go ahead and set it to 106 for right now. That should hopefully fix my error. Maybe get this thing extruding properly again, and then I'll go back and fix the settings a bit more. It honestly does look a lot cleaner now. So I'm thinking that it was a user error on that calibration there, and I maybe caused it to be under extruding. But we'll let this run for a bit. Honestly, if it fixed itself, just with the little bit of extra extrusion, I might just let it go. It won't be the cleanest first print, but with my first Kickstarter printer, it took me about 3 weeks to get a print to even stick to the bed. So definitely some improvement. That was 7 years ago, so I would hope a lot has changed since then. Got a quiet chat today. So we got a few people on. Three people on. Got any questions, comments, anything? Toss it out there. I'm definitely willing to answer things if I can. An idea for a next print. Because if this comes out, the back half of this comes out pretty clean, I'm going to go back, fix that extruder setting that I changed last night, and then go for something different. Oh, right, I was going to fix that contraction setting. So it's definitely not connecting any of the infill portions. It's retracting between each. So I think there's 2 different settings I can change on that. But let's see if those are still available to me in this. There we go. Get all the settings listed for me. All right, let's give another check on this. Maybe zoom in. Oh yeah, that extra bump in extrusion definitely seems to have done the trick. It's looking a lot cleaner overall. Honestly, you can almost read the degree markers over there too. So that's pretty decent so far. See if I can get. Man, I just need a little quick release, don't I? That would be great. Next print. Let's see how we can do this. Not getting the cable stuck too much. Let's get all up in here. So it's not going to focus, of course, but you can definitely see some of those numbers there. They are technically slightly definitely looks like it cleaned up at that point that I adjusted the flow rate, which is good. I'm definitely thinking back that that's going to be a user error of why we were under extruding on this one to start. But live and learn. If you want a different view, let me know. I can change it up, and we can go back to this nice one here. Unfortunately, I only have one tripod, but I do have another idea. So this might be fun. Let's switch this thing. All right, we're gonna move this guy. Okay, that looks pretty decent. While that's rolling, I'm gonna go grab another mouse. All right. So I know the audio is a little funky right now. All right. So the audio is going to be a bit louder now. Because it is so close to the printer. But we're going to do a couple of things at the same time. And get that's not great. Got a nice close-up view here. Let's go ahead. Cool. So, how is that? You guys able to see it? Yep. Okay. So I know volume is a little loud on the audio here, but got lots of close-up views except for this bottom one, which decided to zoom in on the face for no reason again, as it always does. So it does still look like there might be a little bit of under extruding here and there. I'm not a big fan of the wipe setting. I think that leads to more print issues than it saves. So I'm going to make sure that that's gone in the next iteration as well. But again, we're not going to print the same thing again, since it does seem like it's coming out okay. We'll go ahead and switch to something different, but I'm definitely going to work on that retraction because it is doing quite a lot of retracting. Yeah, Z-hop when retracting, it's going to be an interesting setting to see if it can do. Not going to worry about that one right now. Plate is 70, not 60. Okay. Let's set that down to 60. Alright, enable retraction. Go into export mode here and see if we have wow, okay. So I definitely want to turn on combining mode. I think that's going to help reduce those retractions. Just let it move with the mix. Definitely doesn't need much. Okay. Alright, let's see if we can find... Oh, I'm drawing a blank. So got combine mode on, that should definitely help out with the excessive retractions inside of the print. We need to check our wipe settings. Wipe or coat. Alright, so we are wiping not much. I just want to turn that off for now. And we're going to go look at coast distance. Enable coasting. Okay, so that's also off. So Let's get some of these settings saved. We got flow good, retraction. Doesn't seem to be too stringy yet, so that's good. Maybe a little bit, not terrible though. Travel, definitely. Yeah, that's a good. Okay, so I think we're good here on settings. Let's go ahead and get a different view going. Maybe over the shoulder. Let's try that. Let's get something a little different here. We got too many cables. Too many cables. This guy. Not sure that's actually any more interesting, especially when it randomly zooms in. There's that. It's not great. Not great. What we really need is like right there. Might be able to get that. Let's try for it. Alright, while we're doing all this crazy moving, let's do that so we're not making people sick. Let's see how that looks. Oh, it's not too bad. Okay, however, let's try to get this thing. Cool. It thinks that's a face. It's not a face. Back up. Alright, that's in there. Really wish I could modify the camera settings on this to just zoom, not smart zoom, but that's not what we got. So, hello, Sebastian. How is it going? So we got the iFactory 1 here. Not too bad. Alright, looks like it's starting on the next feature. Okay. Definitely bigger than I was thinking. Alright, so we're doing some edits on the code here, or so I had wanted to test out some of the bridge features, being able to print in midair. And I know this is hard to see a bit, but it's kind of just a rock tunnel. Which normally would have some severe support needed up under this section. But since we're looking at 45 degrees slicing, not quite the same issues. So we'll keep this thing. Maybe here. There we go. And this is big, so we're going to make this a bit smaller. Go half. And for whatever reason, I feel like I need to move it to the end of the bed, even though that's not how this thing really works. But that's what we're looking at right now. Okay. So, not super big. But definitely some good tests going on here. That's what I'm thinking for the next print. We can go ahead and take a look at that and see what it looks like sliced up. Oh wow, look at that bridging in there. That looks really clean so far. That's impressive. Sweet. Alright, let's go back and see what this thing looks sliced up. Alright, so 2-hour print. It's not terrible. Alright, it's kind of hard to tell what's going on here. And that's speed rate. Oh, that's all pretty bad. Okay. So, if we look at the layers here, anything expanding against the bed is fine. So there's that whole section is unsupported here. But for now, I am curious to see how that will do. That looks okay. Oh, we got another section there that'll be unsupported. Alright. Got a dot or two underneath, so probably a bit of drooping there. This section is going to be not great. But it'd be a good test, see what this thing's capable of. Definitely some unsupported sections, so definitely see some drooping, but for the most part, I think that would be pretty Wow. Yeah. So lessons learned from this one. I need to go back and fix my mistake of adjusting the extrusion values. And hopefully we can get this thing a little bit cleaner. And I did turn on combining mode in Cura, which should help reduce the number of retractions inside of the model. Because it is a bit excessive right now how much it's extruding inside, or retracting inside the model. Let's see if we can turn that. How is that? Is that any better? I think I might have a few of those noises down. Oh wow, look at that bridge. That was beautiful. Oh wow. It's really got this bridge setting dialed in, doesn't it? Well, we're just going to let this thing keep running. See, we got a few people on. Any questions, comments? Wow, that's a lot of wires. We're going to go the other way. Let's go ahead and get the window capture off the screen for now. Alright, and see if we got anyone on. There's that focus right there. Sorry about that. Alright. A little later. Let's see if we can add some light in here. Okay. Let's see. Right, yeah. 2 millimeters, that would be crazy nozzle. I saw that on Facebook. Yeah, so I got a 0.4. If you look really close on the camera, you can actually see it's labeled as 0.4. I wouldn't mind having a 2 millimeter nozzle. put out some real plastic real quick. But yeah, looks like we got a 0.4 here. So I am for anyone just joining, you know, we are printing here. However, we are not printing with the Octopi on board. We are not printing with SD card put into the front. We are printing from Simplify 3D and a SD card that's got the Cura sliced file on it. So luckily, last night when my printer was connected to the Wi-Fi, I was able to get some settings dialed in and fixed up. But today, I was not able to connect to the Wi-Fi. So that's a bit frustrating. But we are printing. Issues at the beginning of this print, it definitely looks like under extrusion. That's going to be user error on me. When I was doing some of my calibrations last night, which I should have just gone to sleep, it was pretty late. I messed up some settings, so I've since fixed that, and we are printing now with pretty decent results. Definitely some areas that could be improved, but yeah. Yeah, that under extrusion. So in the, it's fun seeing the Z-belt move. When I was setting up the steps per millimeter of the extruder last night, I wasn't pushing it through the hot end, so that that led it to seem to be over extruding. So I dialed those steps per millimeter back, and it was under extruding. So I adjusted in the simplified connection to the flow up to increase 6%. And that seems to get the flow back to a normal rate there. And then after this print's done, I'll go back in and actually fix the steps per millimeter section so it's back to normal. But for the most part, it does seem to be printing fairly well. Yes, Wi-Fi has been, I've seen a couple of other people having some issues. Again, mine worked yesterday just fine. I don't see anything in my Wi-Fi settings that would be blocking it from connecting. So I'm thinking it's just a more in general thing. So I'll be doing quite a bit of troubleshooting after this print is done. And I will see if I can get it working again and hopefully post those troubleshooting results. I'm hoping that it doesn't just lead to just keep trying until it works. I don't like that kind of troubleshooting, but at this point, it is what it is. So. But as torture tests go, it's going pretty well. Again, we're going to be ignoring that front bit. So, yeah, I definitely want to try to engage with the iFactory team and see if we can get the Wi-Fi working. Since basically, if you want to use the onboard controller at all, kind of need the Wi-Fi to be up and running, otherwise you have to direct connect to the printer. So I'm just going to let this thing keep rolling. You guys got any questions? Otherwise I can just keep rambling on about what I'm seeing. But honestly, I keep looking at the screen because it's a better view than what I can get right now. Yeah, it's pretty impressive. The quality is definitely pretty decent with basically stock settings. So I'll see you next time. But yeah, I'm hoping to get this thing really dialed in here in the near future. Since I have some fun projects that I would like to be doing soon. Unfortunately, they don't have the firmware to allow us to have a very wide print right now. We're stuck at about 220 millimeters in the firmware. So I have some projects that I want to do a little bit wider, but we got to do some tests first. So that should be able to do some of those test prints before I am ready to do the big one. So it's definitely hot right up to the end. I wonder if we can add any kind of heat block at the front there. Get a little different view here. Wow, wish I could clean up the color settings here a bit, but I'm not sure I want to be doing that live. But let's see. Looks a little bit better, but it's definitely getting darker in here. Let's see if we can get some more light. That's probably all we're going to get for right now. Alright, so it looks like they're starting the small gap slicing here. Which is a very similar test. It's going to be doing about the same thing as it would on a normal flat printer. Interesting. This thing's still got quite a ways to go, I believe. Fortunately, because of how we're printing, I don't have a good indication of how far we are along. Wow. I definitely want to try to show this. That's pretty sweet. Alright, we're going to grab the main camera, so sorry for the excessive noise. But take a look at that. Look at all that quality right there. You can read their letters. You can see the bridging numbers. Looks like we're going to have some of those smaller gaps kind of meshed together there, but that's pretty sweet. Looking pretty good. Let's get this thing focused back up. Oh, too much, too much. There we go. Alright, we're gonna switch up the view a little bit because you can see. Yeah, that's the view I want. I'm not sure how I'm gonna get it there, but let's see how that works. Got a fun little balancing act going on here. Oh, yeah. See if we can get a little wider range on that focus here. Probably not, because it's not the brightest. Alright, that's a little bit better on our lighting. I hope balancing act though. It's not working out so well. Trying to wedge it up under here. Alright. Let's see if we can get a little bit different angle over here. So now we definitely have exaggerated lighting on this, so you really see those layer issues. Any of the layer. But we definitely have some decent quality here. Oh. Alright. So, I realized that we're still printing really slow. I have this set down to 50% speed right now. So, we're going to jump it up to 75 and see how it does. I was wondering why it was taking so long. But now I know. Alright, this thing is still rolling. Now at 75% speed. Alright, so we're going to bump this speed up a bit more. I'm going to get it up to full speed. 100. Go. See if we can finish this thing off at full speed. Definitely slows down for that last bed layer. Light is really bugging me. That refresh flickering like that. I'm just gonna keep that one. Did like the look of that. It was very bright, but LEDs don't really work well with what we're trying to do. So. Switch this thing up. That other side, let's see how that looks. So there's definitely still some issues in there that I'm seeing, especially on this other side. 2 millimeters, I know, right? That'd be crazy. So definitely seeing some issues still. Not necessarily seeing a perfectly flat print. So not sure what's causing that. Some under extrusion on this side versus the other, which could just be a coasting or other setting like that. But we're almost done here. Let's finish the base of it, and now it's just finishing those top features. For the most part, it's not the worst first print I've ever seen. It's not the best, but I think with some minor modifications, it could really get cleaned up. Might need some advice on why this print doesn't look very flat on this side, and it's definitely under extruding more on this side than the other. So I'll be looking into some of the settings and seeing if there's anything in the slicing settings that's causing that. So it definitely looks like it's sticking to the bed all right. Maybe not perfect, but pretty decent. The other thing, when I was doing that quick bed level at the beginning of this, I was only adjusting the two closest to the printer. Obviously, the ones furthest away from the print head are going to affect it slightly as well. Oh, look at that. We just finished. It is rolling away. And my camera is going to roll right off the screen. That's funny. Well, let's let this thing just keep rolling, see how far it's going to go. I think it might try to roll right off the front edge, which... Nope, there it is. Oh, I need to move this guy. All my cameras are getting hit. Okay, so print complete. Let's see how this thing looks. So, get that cable chain out of the way. So I mean, definitely some slightly exaggerating lighting, but I'm thinking that looks pretty good. So first print complete on the iFactory one. And I know this camera is pointing at the sky right now. There we go. Alright, let us get set back up in a normal way and we'll pull this thing off and see how it looks. Okay, where are we? All right, so print complete. So one thing I'm noticing is, wow, it's kind of hard to see, but if I push down, the belt is moving. So it's not as prevalent here, but it is definitely moving when you touch the bed. And this is not even pushing the bed down. This is just, it's moving to the bed. So that's one thing that I'm not thrilled about. See if we can get that all cleaned up. But we are going to roll this thing right off the front, and let's see. Okay, let's get this thing rolling. Heated bed is cooled off, so hopefully, well, cooling off. Extruder's cooled down. So let's start rolling this thing forward. Jog controls. Alright, keep going here. Alright, we are right up near the edge of the bed. Let's keep this guy a little bit closer. Alright, we're going to do this a little slow and steady. I'm going to set this pretty low, and we are going to go just nice and slow and see if we can get this thing to pop off. So that first bit wasn't stuck very well. Alright, now that we've popped that, the rest of it looks like it is already ready to pop off this thing. Get this camera right down in there. Okay, we're just going to keep rolling it. Alright, there it went. It was not stuck very tightly. Definitely think we're going to have to work on some of that bed adhesion. Even though the left side looks like it's very inconsistent in its bed adhesion. Okay, let's get this guy set up where we can actually get a nice close look at this print. And my keyboard, apparently. Cool. So, obviously our skirt, our normal skirt is now just that. And as always, we have a little sticky bit at the end, but there we are. So this part didn't stick at all to the beginning, but we were under extruding, so that makes sense. So I mean, you can definitely see the layer lines. I definitely increased it to 0.2, or 0.3, sorry, 0.3 layer lines. And honestly, I don't know how in focus this thing is going to get. Focus on this. Okay, yeah, you can't really see the detail on this camera. So let's go ahead and grab the other camera, or go stand right up in front of the camera, because I definitely want to look at some of the details here, and see what you guys think. So let's roll. Alright, we're getting right up close. So there we go. That is our control print. Alright, so as you can see, that little bit is pretty terrible. It didn't stick in the first place. You can, if it focuses. Let's see. Let's back it up. So you can read those numbers, which is pretty cool. Don't know what these are, these little bits here. Don't know what that is, but you can see that concave tower there. So some of those issues that I was seeing. Might need to switch this to manual focus so it quits jumping around on me. Alright. So, zoom in all the way in. Alright, right here you can see it's under extruding, and it's definitely not a trick of the camera. It's not flat. It's not flat at all. This side is a little bit better, but still warped a bit there. If you look at the bottom, you can kind of see the print bed transferring, but there is sections like right here that doesn't look like it touched the bed at all, and back here, again, it doesn't look like it touched the bed at all. Definitely under extruding in these sections a bit. So, yeah, we got decent, pretty decent. I mean, one thing I can say is that bridging, it's really clean. Those overhangs obviously don't really translate the same way. This one here is actually more of an overhang than that one. But overall, I think it's a pretty decent first print. And yeah, we're gonna zoom this back out and wrap this thing up. Okay, so again, pretty decent print. We do have some. Hey Arthur. Well, here's the final results. Got some issues at the front. That was under extruding. That was my bad. Fairly decent. This was basically stock settings here. And one thing we can see on the underside is it's definitely not touching the bed here. And not touching the bed much up here. But for a first attempt, not bad. Definitely not flat. So we'll have to see what we can do to fix that. Bed still needs a little bit of fine tuning because it's definitely wiggling a bit as you press down. It's not fully on there, but I think it's a pretty decent first attempt. We will get another attempt going probably here very soon. Yeah, so it's pretty decent. Fairly happy with it. Obviously kit printer, so a lot can go wrong. But we'll keep playing. Once I get some really fine-tuned settings, I'll start doing. Yeah, absolutely. I think once we get some fine-tuned settings, things are really going to start looking good. Okay, definitely will. I'll send this file to the Facebook group. I also am having lots of issues right now with connecting to the Wi-Fi. I know several people are having issues with that as well. So just to recap, this print was done with an SD card plugging in to the printer with Simplify 3D and just running it with a cord there. So, and an SD card. I fully unplugged the Octopi because I couldn't get that to work at all. Couldn't connect to the Wi-Fi, and the Octopi doesn't recognize any print files that are on that SD card as of right now. So, got some troubleshooting to do. Going to work through some of the Wi-Fi issues, hopefully. Might need to take the Pi case apart and just hard code that in. And then got some tuning on the belt as well. You know, it's still a little wiggly. I would like to see it a bit more firm on the bed. So yeah, I'll probably be posting to the Facebook and the Discord groups here shortly with all the issues that I'm seeing. Some high-res photos here. I'll grab my macro lens and we'll get some really high-res photos here and get that going. So, good print overall, 3 hours. Took about an hour of troubleshooting. And then we got the print going, started it pretty slow and then sped it up. But, alright, I think that's it. Cool. Thanks everyone for tuning in, and catch you next time.